Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to It's Doomsday Podcast. Today is February 12th, 2023. Time is 18:07, and joining me as always is Big Daddy Prep. What's going on, Al? How are you today?
I'm wonderful, Jester. Very, very wonderful. Getting ready for that springtime of the year. It's not here yet, but I'm getting ready for it. At least I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm still just trying to get over winter right now, man. It's we got, like, the other day we had weather in the 70s, and now it's back in the 30s and 40s, and we were getting freezing rain last night. It's just very, very temperamental weather right now, and I'm just waiting for it to get better again so I can get some things done.
Yeah, me too. Same way. Last week I had a horrible migraine headache that I think started out as allergies, like sinus allergies, and went into like a migraine. And yeah, I'm ready to get spring here and get the winter part over with and just get down to what I like, which is being outside and being able to stretch your arms and not freeze to death and wear thermals and all that. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, me too. And guys, the email, it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you guys drop us a line if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you want to give us some topic suggestions. We'd appreciate it. To get right into this episode, guys, what Al and I are going to be talking about today is homesteading, because it's a trending fad again, right, Al?
It is a trending fad, but it is a way in which you can simply provide for your family on a much cheaper basis. But you have to have a lot of things in place to make it happen. But it's a fad. For some of us, we've been doing this forever, but it seems to be a fad. So if it's going to be a fad and you're going to get into it, we want to show you the good ways to do it and the pitfalls. So that's what we're trying to help you with.
Absolutely. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm going to explain this to you. And if anybody says I'm wrong, I challenge you to thumb wrestle.
Right.
Prepping and homesteading goes hand in hand. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. If you're a prepper, you can be homesteading. If you're a homesteader, you're probably prepping. They go hand in hand.
Right.
So
I agree. It's like dating your cousin, you know?
Well, okay, we'll take it. Anyway, so guys, I've done the homestead thing. I started homesteading back in 2016. Really started my big projects and getting the ball rolling with stuff in 2017, and then moved to my property right before the pandemic hit. And I've basically done everything on my property myself, and I have made a ton of mistakes along the way. And one thing I can at least help people with on this episode is not making the same mistakes I did.
Right. If you can not make the mistakes that we've made, don't do it, because it will save you thousands of dollars and thousands of hours worth of grief. I promise you.
So, Al, my biggest homesteading mistake is it could be one of two things. It could either be that I didn't properly map out the property as I was putting in structures and buildings, because I'm paying for that now. Or it could be that I rushed into everything way too fast without having a proper plan.
My biggest problems were probably the fact that I don't have a lot of funds, and I am a person that thinks that you can get most things for cheap or free, and trying to make multiple things work together that don't always work together. So that's been my pitfall, not going out and buying new lumber to build something with. I'm like, well, I can use this. And then you find out later on, well, I'm short two of this, or so. That's me, you know, but I try to do everything on a very simple, low dollar budget to show other people that they can do it too. So that's my pitfall.
Right. So yeah. So my biggest thing is when we got the property, we put in the septic, we ran the power, we put in a small cabin, and that was our start. Right. That was our very small start, and I'm coming to find out now where I put the power at's going to have to be moved because the driveways go in there now. Where I put the cabin at, it's going to have to be moved because now I have plans on putting a garage there. So it's just been kind of one thing after another, like, oh, I screwed up here, I screwed up there, I screwed up here, I screwed up there. Even the tiny house we're in now, we plan on moving that in like the next 10 years. So every single thing that I've done, except for a handful of things, it's like, oh, bad spot, got to move it,
Right. Having a plan and talking that plan over with your significant other, if you're in a relationship or talking over your family, or even talking it over with people that are in the know, people that run power lines or run water lines, talking it over and getting their input on, hey, this is a problem or this is a potential problem is a great idea. Because you don't want to find out later on. It could cost you a lot more money to redo something a second or third time. So ask advice. That's number one.
Right. And I'll tell you what, a big thing I'd like to point out to everybody, guys, if you're starting out with a property that you just bought and it's completely blank slate, your first process should be to get a freaking good survey done. All right.
Absolutely.
Know exactly where your borders are, know exactly where those property pins are. Know that in advance. That is going to save you so many headaches in the long run. I promise.
Yes, because a lot of times if you're new to an area and you don't know it well, you end up with a neighbor. Bobby Joe has had this building on this piece of property forever. Bobby Joe says, my grandpa left me this. This is my property. And your property pin says, no, Bobby Joe actually has 5 feet of his barn on your property. Now, this is going to cause a conflict. I see this all the time on social media where people go through this. Good property lines and good fences make for good neighbors. So, folks, do your homework. You don't want to end up with somebody on your property and go through a long legal battle. Just find out ahead of time exactly where these things are at.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, Al. And so something else, on this mention of neighbors and property lines and stuff like that, I think it's pretty safe to say that everybody wants to utilize every inch of their property. Okay.
Right.
Having that survey done is definitely going to help you do that. You might have 10 more feet than what you thought you had bordering your property. Maybe this 10 feet crosses over a spring or a body of water that you can access. Maybe this will allow you to add a little bit of extra fence for your animals. It's good to get the survey done. The next thing I'll bring up to you guys is, find out the difference between permits and fines. I'm starting to learn in my area that it's almost cheaper and more efficient for me to pay a fine than it is to just go get the damn permit. Right?
You're right.
And I'm like sitting there scratching my head like, why wouldn't they at least make the fine more than the permit? Like, why is that not a thing? That would encourage me to get the permit. Oh, and then I forgot, this is government, this is bureaucracy. These people are morons, so they don't know what the hell they're doing. And so I've been going back and forth with this house build thing, and they want me to jump through all these hoops to get a new permit. And it's like, well, I'm looking at potentially $2,000 to get everything filed, and then maybe it gets shot down. Or I could just pay a $200 fine and just start building.
Jester, that happens so much here in Arkansas where I live at. I've actually seen people go in with a bulldozer, bulldoze something out on their piece of property, build a home, have electrical, plumbing, water, gas, the whole 9 yards, never ask anybody, never draw a permit, never get a fine. They did this 40 years ago, and they've done it 4 years ago. Nobody said a word. But there are parts of the country that you literally cannot put a mailbox in front of your house without drawing a permit and having somebody who's a contractor do it for you. So know your area.
Yeah, see, to me, that's too much oversight. That's being under someone's thumb too much. I can't do that. I want my freedom. it's my property. I'm already pissed off. I'm going to have to continuously pay property tax on it.
Right.
Because it's mine. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay you guys to tell me what I can and can't do. It's my property, not yours, right?
I agree.
And that's the way I look at it. I mean, frankly, I personally think that property taxes should be abolished. That's my personal opinion.
Me too.
I understand the need to pay for fire and rescue services and EMS services and police services. I understand that's where this tax money goes to. Like, I get that. I completely understand it. Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com. But here's the reality to this, and this is what makes it bullshit. What makes it bullshit is, say you have a property and you don't occupy it. Say that it's blank, it's vacant, there's nothing there. You're not calling 911 for a fire. You're not calling the police because nobody's breaking in to your blank piece of property, right? You're not going to need an ambulance to show up because there's nobody there, but you still got to pay property tax on it? Are you serious?
Right, I agree with you.
And here's the kicker, Al. If I'm paying for fire rescue, why the hell do I need to have fire insurance on my house?
I agree.
I mean, it's a bunch of shit. It's bullshit. It really, really is.
I live in a state where there is paid and volunteer fire departments that basically are right next to each other, that overlap each other. And believe it or not, a family member of mine passed away right on the piece of property that I live on now because the volunteer department never would come. The paid department 20 miles down the road kept hearing calls being called out. They came, and they were the only people that responded. They had to drive past the people that were supposed to respond. So, yeah, I know your area. But let me interject one thing about any piece of property. If you're new to it, or even if you've just been there for a few years, go find the older folks, the folks that have been there a long time, make friends with them, ask questions. There are things that might have happened or things that have happened in the past near or around your property that you have no idea about. Ask questions, get to know them. Sometimes you'll find out a piece of property, something's happened there. It could be up for all you know. It could be a war memorial for the Civil War could have been there, and you had no idea that that was the exact place this happened or that happened. We have a lot of property here in Arkansas where it's Indian burial mounds and where the Indians were at, and people want to go and they want to look for arrowheads and things like that. But you can't because nobody will let you. So find out about this. You may have to run people off your property because it might be a highly sought property for things like that. So just ask questions, especially the old timers.
I don't disagree with you at all, Al. I mean, that's definitely a good thing. I know, like, in my area, it's kind of hard to get people to open up if they don't know your pappy's pappy. They don't want to talk to you.
Right.
But I'll say this, though. I think step one, if you're acquiring a homestead property, try to find a good water source try to select a property that has a great water source, okay? Whether that's a creek, a stream, a spring, something that's already there that you could pull water from. This is going to make life a lot easier for you if you have any type of livestock or you plan on doing big gardens. Having a nice flowing body of water that you could redirect or pump out of is going to make a world of difference. In my situation, I cannot get somebody out on my property to put a well in to save my life. We have been fighting this well situation for years, and it's always a company saying, hey, we're on the way out, we're coming. And then they never show up, or someone calling and saying, we'll get back to you, and then they never do. And then eventually these people quit answering the phone. I'm telling you what, man, the area I live in, I've never met people that are so unmotivated to work. It is absolutely horrible. And I mean, and it's always like the same story. I call these guys, oh, we're booked up for 6 months. Well, can I get on the books? Well, we're not taking any new customers right now.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I had one company, Al, I called them, and this was the biggest crap. So this is when we were planning on going a different route with our homestead project. I called this company. They do heating and air conditioning. And I said, hey, I want to send you guys some blueprints so I can get an estimate on getting the ductwork and furnace and everything hooked up in this house. Okay. And it took this company. I talked to the lady on the phone. She was real nice, this, that, the other. And this was in the summertime, Al, when I called them. And they said, when are you looking to build? I said, I don't know. I said, but I would like to have this estimate done hopefully by like October. Like, I mean, this is in the summertime, probably calling in, July or August. So I'm just like, if I could have the estimate by October, that'd be great,
Yeah.
Takes this lady 2 weeks to call me back. I totally forgot I even called them. Leaves me a message saying, Mr. Jester, I want to let you know that we're unable to do the estimate for you right now because October is our busy season. We are more interested in doing repair work at that time. We get really busy with that, so we're going to be unable to provide you with an estimate this fall. But we want you to consider us for all your future needs. Now, does that sound like someone you'd want to do business with?
No. And this is a reoccurring problem for a lot of people in areas that, business has been in for 50 years. We've been putting glass in so-and-so. We've been doing plumbing for 50 years. They've been doing it that long because there's nobody else to do it. There's no competition. They're in no hurry. And if you're an outsider, yes, for Billy Bob, they may go down the road and do something this afternoon. But for somebody else, they don't do it. That's the reason why I don't like that kind of business. That's bad. That's bad management. But if you're stuck in that kind of area, you literally may have to get somebody from a bigger area to come out, which is going to cost you more.
Yeah.
But folks, don't wait around ever for somebody who's lazy to eventually get around to you. Just go get somebody else. Work around them.
Right, exactly. And what I was going to say too is, guys, if you're going down this homestead road, if you're going down this homestead route, something I want you guys to really consider is you're going to end up having to do a lot of work yourself. Okay.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to hire somebody to do everything. Get good at doing certain things. Find out where your skill sets lie. If you're really good at painting, exploit that, right? If you're really good at cutting wood and you can cut wood perfectly square and straight, exploit it. Do a lot of woodwork, right? Find out what your skill set is and take advantage of that. That way, if you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm not good at much, but I know how to do plumbing. You know that's where you're going to save your money at with your build. If you say to yourself, hey, the only thing that I know how to do on a house is roofing, utilize that aspect to save yourself some cash. Okay? Now,
and also your friends and the people that you work with and the people that you're acquainted with. You never know the skill sets that they have until you go to asking. And that doesn't mean use your friends up. I'm not saying that. But sometimes you'll have a friend that used to be an electrician, but he's not working as an electrician right now, but he's still licensed.
hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com. Listen,
see if they're interested in helping you on the side.
Al, if you won't say it, I'll say it. Use the shit out of your friends.
Right. The thing is don't do it with the intentions like you want to repay. Everybody wants to have a clean slate. You want to do right by them, and sometimes you could do right by them by, a 12-pack of beer and a nice dinner and maybe $50. A lot of guys are just like, hey man, he treated me right. He just, he needs some help. Use your friends up if you can. It's beneficial to you and beneficial to them sometimes too.
Listen, I've had a ton of friends over the years. Hey, I need help with this. Hey, I need help with that. And we've exchanged favors and it's been fine.
Right.
And I've never really had an issue. Someone needs my help. I help them out. When I need their help, hopefully they're around. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It's
what about tile? If you're putting tile down and you need a tile wet saw, how many times do you use a tile wet saw for the rest of your life? You're probably not. But you may have a friend that has one because he might do tile work. So maybe he just lets you use that. Something that's hundreds of dollars that you don't have to pay to go buy one that you'll never use again. Okay, once you put your tile down, little things like that. As you're going into a project, you just start gathering up. Okay, do you have a tile? What's all? Yeah. Well, can I use it for the weekend? Can I buy you a 12-pack of beer if I use it? Most of the time, people will be like, yeah, no problem, man. Just bring it back the same way you got it. Be respectful to people too.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I know I'm in this position now where it's like I find myself overbuying tools. And
Yep.
so for those of you guys out there that don't know, I did the homestead thing. I've been talking, you guys know I've been talking about it in this episode, but I live in a tiny house on my property. It absolutely sucks. There's 5 of us stuffed in there right now, plus animals, and it's not a good time. And we're progressively always trying to do other things on the property to make our living situation a little bit better. And you wouldn't believe what a little difference, what a big difference little things could make. Like we finally, over this last summer, we got the back deck started on the house. And it changed the whole house because it gave us a whole nother door to utilize. It made it easier to bring groceries in. It gave us a whole nother usable space with the house, to go out and barbecue and hang out and have coffee in the morning. It was a big beneficial change. And you wouldn't think something that small as throwing a little, 12 by 16 deck on the back would have made that big of a difference, but it really did.
Well, that's just like people that live on wet ground or ground that's not as solid as it needs to be, getting stuck. Just putting a little chat in, making a nice pad to drive on or stand on or be able to work on. I've seen people that got a couple loads of chat put on their driveway, and they're like, "Man, it changed my world." I'm like, "Yeah, it's just gravel, it's just rock." But we've been in mud for years. We finally made a little walkway up there. It's the little things that make a lot when it comes to homesteading, folks. And most of these projects are projects that you can do yourself. You don't need anybody to do these things.
Right, exactly. And guys, I find a lot of projects coming upon me very fast this year, and my oldest son's helping me out with as much as he can. We, if you guys follow me on any social media, you'll see that we just redid our area for our chickens. So we got a whole nother area cleared out for the chickens now, and believe it or not, it made maintaining the chickens a lot easier because of their location and proximity to the house, things like that. So, it's little things like that. Simply moving where you're keeping your animals or maybe clearing out a different area for the animals is going to make a big difference. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, homesteading is not a race, okay? It's a marathon. You're going to find yourself wanting to get everything done as soon as possible, but it takes a shit ton of time to do. A great person that's an example of this that put their whole story online is Nate Petrosky. All right.
Yep.
If you guys are on TikTok, if you guys are on Clapper, you'll see Nate Petrosky out there, and he's continuously posting videos about the stuff he's doing on his homestead. If you guys have noticed, he's been posting, updates for years, and he didn't break ground for a house yet. His last big project he's doing is a new outhouse.
Want to be a guest on the show? Email it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com. That's it's doomsdaypodcast@gmail.com.
All right.
There are a lot of pieces to this, Jester, that, when I think of homesteading, I think about certain things like gardens and raising animals and your water source and things like that. And don't willy-nilly go out and say, well, this is where this is going to be and this is where this is going to be. Don't put your chickens down here where it's the wettest part of the yard, okay? Don't put your well up here where it's in a really rocky area. I mean, that's where you say the well is going to be. No, let the property speak to you and be as conducive to making things easy for you as you can. You don't want to build something and have something really nice in one area and then find out, well, we had the first big flash flood and it washed all the chickens downhill now, or study these things, use a little intelligent, use a little brain power. Do a little research.
Al, I'm just thinking about these chickens and kayaks being washed away in the flood.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible, but it happens to people. And that's, as we want to get off grid, I would love to totally be off grid. It's very, very hard to totally get off grid, folks.
Oh no,
being
it
partially off
is.
grid, being partially off grid is great. being totally off grid is very hard. And if that's your expectation, understand you are not going to live like a king totally off grid. That means you're going off the power supply, the water supply, the sewer. You're going off all that.
Right.
A lot of people think off grid is I live in the country. No, that's not off grid. So you have to think about these things more than, okay, that's what I'm going to do. No, think about it really, really hard. And you might find out that the piece of property that you have is not conducive, that you find something else. Don't be scared to say, this 5 acres I've got is not as conducive to do the things I want to do, but there's 10 acres down the road, and I might have to throw a little cash with it to get that 10 acres, but that's a better place to do. It's a whole lot easier than trying to fight, pushing water uphill, try to get something done that you simply just aren't going to make happen when you find the perfect place down the road from you. So be open-minded.
Right. And, so right now where we're sitting at, we have total off-grid water. All right.
Yep.
We have septic off-grid. We do not have trash services where I live. We're still on the power grid as of now. That is going to change. That eventually is going to change, but it takes money and time to make that happen. Right. So for us, we do a lot of things kind of as a backup, and we have things that individually run off solar. So honestly, if the power goes out tomorrow, we'll still have lights. We'll still have things running. We've got solar generators and backup generators and different solar panels that power different things right now. So we'll be okay, if things really break bad. But for me, it's that ultimate sense of freedom. Knowing that there's no power bill. Knowing that there's no garbage bill, no water bill, no septic bill. Like to me, that's true freedom. Right?
Yep.
And, the only thing I wish I could eliminate with that is that freaking property tax. I got to figure out a way to eliminate that.
The thing with the property taxes is that they're built in for everybody, and they're built in to supposedly pay for the infrastructure, but then they need money for infrastructure. So they need your taxes for infrastructure, then they need more for infrastructure. Really what they need your money for is to keep the government floating. That's not what the property tax was supposed to be for. It was supposed to pay for the schools and the roads and things like that. And it's nothing ends up what it started to be. So, I'm with you. I simply don't think property taxes, I think there should be total exemption on property tax, period. State, county, federal, there shouldn't be any.
I think it would be this simple. If they would go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to nix property tax, we're going to get rid of it, and we're just going to add 2 cents onto sales tax.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it, too. That's going to solve the problem right then and there. If you got people that are going out buying goods and services within that county, redirect it back to the county. Done.
I would be just as good with income tax being the same exact way. Pay a flat tax on everything that you buy. If you buy $1,000 worth or $1 million worth, the flat tax, so much percentage. Now we'd have to argue the percentage, and it's been argued for years, but oftentimes been 13 to 15%. It's been argued by. I would gladly pay 15% sales tax on everything I got just to never pay any more income tax, period. So I would glad to do that, but unfortunately, most people don't feel like we do. But
hey preppers, check out Blackbeard Fire Starters. Go to www.blackbeardfire.com/doomsday and utilize code doomsday for 10% off your entire order at blackbeardfire.com.
My biggest thing that I can say to people is, as you're planning these things, don't go into this blindly. Sit down with your significant other, whoever's going to be there with you, plan out what you want. Do you want chickens? Do you want to raise hogs? Do you want to raise cattle? Do you want to raise horses? Are you going to have a garden? How many gardens are you going to have? How big a garden do you want? And make it all work. You can't put a 5,000 square foot garden in a little teeny weeny 500 square foot space. So you have to have realistic ideas of the area that you have. You can't raise cattle on a quarter acre. Okay. I'm sorry.
Right.
So
that's a good point, Al. Absolutely.
Go out and do your homework and bite off what you can chew. Take one project at a time. get better at it or get good at it, and then go to the next project. Don't start 7 projects. Don't say, I'm going to start raising cattle, pigs, and chickens all at the same time and have a garden. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you think you've got a job and your wife or significant other has a job, they're all going to die. Your garden's going to wilt. You're going to have nothing, and you're going to piss every bit of that money away because you're not going to have time. I'm telling you, I know this for a fact.
So, here's the other thing, too. Along with what Al's saying, don't bite off more than you could chew. Work within the means that you have. But, guys, I want you to do something that I didn't do, okay? I never thought in my head to compensate for what happens if I get injured in the middle of a project, right?
Right.
So do have contingency plans for these projects as well. Al, I was on a clapper live the other day, man, and I was changing my brakes on my truck. Hurt my back in the middle of the live putting my back wheel back on the truck. Like, my back just did something wonky when I was putting that wheel on and couldn't finish the rest of the brake job on the truck, right?
Yep.
And not that that's a homesteading project, but it just goes to show you how quick you can get injured just doing something you don't think you'd get injured doing.
Absolutely. You can get hurt doing a lot of these projects. I see people all the time that say they're clearing land. They're going to clear land. They're chainsawing down trees. I mean, they get hurt with a chainsaw, or a tree comes back and hurts them, and they can't do anything else on the rest of their property because they didn't know properly how to do what they said they were going to do. Folks, if you don't know how to take down trees, don't be taking down trees. If you don't know how to put a well in, don't attempt to put a well in. Get someone who knows how. Learn. But don't go out there and think that you're just going to go out there and I've never built anything in my life, but I'm fixing to go build me a house. Okay. All righty. We'll see how that goes. I went to a building the other day that I watched that a guy had paid somebody to build a shed for him. I have a 3-year-old grandson that could have done a better job. I'm assured he could have done a better job. I mean, one stiff wind comes up, it's coming down. I told the man, I said, I'll do everything you need me to do here for you, but this is coming down. You do realize this is an insurance claim waiting to happen. So, yeah, be careful on who you get to do things. And if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, hire somebody that does.
Right. And I know a lot of us have this mentality too of, we don't want to pay for it. We'll figure it out on our own, or, we don't want this stranger coming in on our property to do this job for us. But there is that time where it's like, nope, we need somebody for this. Like, one of the big things with us was I never put in a septic tank before. I never put in a drain field before. So we hired a professional to come out and do that job, right?
Mm-hmm.
That simple. For everything else, my underground water lines, my power hookups, all that stuff, I did all that on my own. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. The internet is a great tool to utilize for these things. Don't psych yourself out and think to yourself that, well, I can't learn it, I can't do it, it's too hard, it's too big. Definitely feel capable and feel confident about this, but acquire some skills. Learn how to do a few things. If you've got, like how we were talking about earlier, utilizing your friends. If you got a buddy who just so happens to own a roofing company, an electric company, a plumbing company, call your buddy and be like, hey, dude, can I shadow with you for a few days just to kind of learn some things? I just kind of want to see what this is about, if it's something I could do or not. And if they say, yeah, sure, you'll learn what it's about a little bit. And then you could say to yourself, nah, this definitely looks more complicated than something I want to get into. Or you could say, you know what, I kind of think I know what's going on here. Let me work with this guy some more so I could really develop a little bit of a skill set here. That way I don't have to call somebody for everything. And before, right. And before anybody's like, oh, these guys are nuts, I'm not saying you're going to be able to wire a whole house shadowing an electrician for a few days. But you might learn how to put a ceiling fan in. You might learn how to put a new outlet in. You might know how to put a switch in. You might figure out how to turn breakers off in a breaker box. You might learn something that you're going to take with you that's going to benefit you, right?
Well, and also, I know a lot of people that have got ready to put electrical in their little small little cabins that they're building, whatever. They'll have a friend that's an electrician. What can I do to help you? Okay, well, I need you to drill pilot holes all the way through these studs, and where we want to put this and this, that, and he'll mark it out for them. They'll do all the work. They'll drill the studs and do all the labor intensive work, and then all he's got to do is basically come run the line and fix it out for them. Then they'll finish the rest of it out. He's done the most of the most hard part to do, and they've done most of the labor intensive part, and everybody won. And there are a lot of good folks out there. As much as we try to say people aren't that good or this, that, and the other, people are good. They want to help each other. But if you could take a 12-hour job and make it a 5-hour job for him and get the job done, and you've done a lot of the work, now you're shadowing him while he's doing the actual part that he knows how to do, you've learned everything. That's how I learned how to put irrigation systems in when I was a kid, was digging the holes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right. And guys, as we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, this is a fad. This is trending again. People are pissed off. They're not happy. So everybody's going down this homestead road again.
Right.
It's insane to me how popular it's become. Last year, it seemed like it died down a bit. Right. This year, it's all getting cranked up again. I can only imagine it has a lot to do with the cost of food. People are like, man, I wish I had chickens. I wish I had a garden. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Well, shit, we might as well start homesteading so we can have these things. I think this is where a lot of the mentality is coming from.
Yeah, because people are finding out how expensive things are. They want to be able to make it. They want to be able to fill their freezers, have a nice place to live, not have to be dependent on everyone else. And also, there's something about growing something out of the garden that you actually did taste better. I'm sorry, a tomato that comes out of my garden tastes better than anyone I get out of the grocery store.
Hey preppers, do you want 10% off survival food? Go to www.readywise.com and use code DOOM10 at checkout for 10% off all your survival food needs. Again, that's code DOOM10 at checkout at readywise.com, DOOM10 for 10% off at readywise.com.
That was kind of the thing. Maybe we can get a 2-part out of this before it's over with, because there's a lot of things that we like to go into that's about gardening and animal raising and things like that, how to save money and not make the mistakes I've done. Because I understand I've raised a lot of animals, raised a lot of gardens. My education is worth thousands to you, I promise you, because I've lost a lot over the years, not knowing what I was doing, but I've got pretty damn good in my old age. So,
that since you brought that up, Al, something I would like to hit on a little bit here is money lost. Because let's face it, you're going to lose money.
Yep.
You are. Another mistake I made, Al, and I thought this was gonna be a money saving endeavor. I went out and we spent about $700 on a wood chipper. Okay. And I thought to myself, this would be great. I'll be able to clear out property. I'll be able to make my own mulch, this, that, the other. Al, I could tell you what, man. With what I've done so far and the amount of time it takes to make mulch, in the years I've had this thing, I haven't made $700 worth of mulch yet. And I don't think that I ever will.
Yep. It's that tool that you probably didn't need, that you might have could have borrowed from somebody else when you absolutely do need them, because the rest of the time you've got storage, upkeep, things like that. Keep somebody from stealing it. Yeah, you're in charge of it now. That's kind of like goes back to my thing. If you don't need a chainsaw all the time, if you're not regularly using one, maybe you could borrow one for the afternoon from a friend.
Right.
Things like that. Folks, you can get thousands of dollars into raising animals too. There's a whole story right there I can tell you about getting deep off into raising animals and enjoying it, doing a good job. But if you're looking to turn a profit, you don't need to start getting into it, because you're not going to turn a profit. The only profit's going to be is a profit that you say, I did this. That's your profit.
Right.
But it's a big thing. It's a big thing to.
It's the roads you'll go down in homesteading are unreal, right? The things you will find yourself doing are unreal. And honestly, guys, I find myself working on projects I never thought I was going to do. I have a huge project coming up in one of our springs. I went out and we spent almost $2,000, Al, on one piece of pipe, 4-foot diameter by 20-foot long. And what we're doing is we're digging one of our springs down like a 15th century well. And we're going to put this giant piece of pipe in there vertically. So we have a giant basin to pick up for the water for the house now.
Yep.
I mean, I never thought I'd be doing that, but that's another homestead project, right?
Yep. And it'll provide a lot more water.
Hell yeah,
a lot more water.
Hell yeah, well.
But it's an investment. You know, it is an investment in the long term. You're not going to see a return on that money instantly, but over the years you will. We're not trying to deter anybody from becoming homesteaders. We're just trying to tell those that are new to it or that are looking at doing it, we encourage you to do it, but take advice. Don't think that you know everything, that, if Alan Jester could do it, anybody could do it. Okay. All right. You sit up at nighttime for 12 hours a night, 6 days a week, trying to keep baby chicks alive. You go out in the morning time and find out you lost 2 litters of brand new baby rabbits because the mom did something to them. You do that. Do that a few times and find out how things go. Go out and find out that, you had a goat attacked by another animal and you have to go put that animal down because it's your responsibility now and it's not going to live a good life. You do that. And that's experience right there you can't get by reading a book, I promise you. I've done all of it.
Yeah, absolutely not. I 100% agree with you, Al. Yeah, I mean, guys, best investment you could make for this homestead right now, take your ass down to the dollar store, take your ass to Walmart, take your ass to the office supply store. Buy yourself a good notebook and a pack of pens and pencils and pre-plan everything that you are doing. Get it on paper. Make sense out of it before you break ground. Make sense out of it before you pound the first nail. I'm telling you, it's going to save your ass in the long run. I promise.
Right. And be willing to take that and look at it and go, there, I made a mistake. I need to change this. Don't be so hard-headed that you say, I made the plan. It's going to stay that way. No, don't do that. Be able to be flexible and say, I might have made a misjudgment here. I'm gonna tack and retack over to this. I'm gonna change some things around. You know what I mean? Just have a good plan, but be willing to change your plan if things don't work out just the way you want them to. So.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.